that we show. So, as I said, Tyreek Hill apologized, kind of. Kind of. We're going to take a look at that. So let's share that. Hold on. Let me share that. And you guys tell me if this you think was suitable. And also, while we're watching this video, keep in mind everybody that came out and was acting as if Tyreek Hill didn't do anything, even though we showed on the last one, Stephen A. Smith did highlight the certain aspects that the certain things that Tyreek Hill could have done differently instead of escalating the situation. But a lot of other people that we heard from, they simply just wanted to place all the blame on the cop. And I think it's very important to discuss these things. And Doug actually sent me a text of something that we are going to do. We're going to show you exactly how we believe that you should conduct yourselves in a situation like this. I got a bro of mine who's a sheriff, and he doesn't know that he's going to do it, but he's going to get involved as well. And we're just going to record it. We're just going to record it because maybe people need to see a different aspect of how to interact with a police officer. And this goes to this is like one of those same topics that we discuss where a lot of people have the conversation maybe in their homes about, okay, when you're getting pulled over, your hands over here, and then you make sure that you're not moving, all these things that we learn when we're younger. But perhaps people are not learning these things, and perhaps these things need to be circled back and retaught. It's almost like in the beginning of football season every year, you'd have to watch this video on how to prevent concussions. You have to do it every year. It's one of those things where if you're not watching it every year, you may lose sight, not tackle correctly, and may put yourself in a position to get injured more. So this is those same type of things. So we're going to put together a video so that way, we can show y'all, show younger people, maybe remind some of us older folks as well how to communicate. And for me, it just, when I was thinking about all these things as far as communicating with a cop, it came down to my golden rule. Not my golden rule, but the golden rule that I've accepted as far as, how I want to conduct my life. And it's just treating people the way that I want to be treated. Simple. Now, are there going to be outliers? Are there going to be people that still decide to not follow that rule and violate? Yes. But I think as a general approach to a situation with a cop or anybody else, if we are treating those the way that we want to be treated, I think we're going to put ourselves in the best position to make it out of whatever situation without going through what Tyreek Hill went through. So let's take a look at this video. Let me share the screen with y'all. Hold on. And when I say kind of apologize, you guys will understand what I mean from the first words.
I could have been better. I could have let down my window, in that instant. But the thing about me is, man, I don't want attention. I don't want to be like cameras out, phones on you, in that moment. But at the end of the day, I'm human. I gotta follow rules. I gotta, do what everyone else would do. So now, does that give them the right to literally beat the dog out of me? Absolutely not.
Yo, I'm gonna share with y'all a lesson that I think could be very helpful for Tyreek Hill in this situation. And it's one that, to me, sets us all free. Like, you ever been in a situation where it's like, you did something wrong, but you kind of pissed off about it, so you're trying to figure out a way to rationalize what you did or not fully apologize? Just apologize. Sometimes when you just man up or woman up and just say, you know what? I effed up. I messed up. Sometimes just saying that, you look a lot more stand up, in my opinion. You look a lot more courageous, and that gives people the ability to not only, like, as I'm thinking about it, to like you more, but to embrace you more, to then give you more grace. But when you're kind of half stepping, it's like, bro, you're trying to say like, oh, I could have been better. No, you should have been better. You don't like attention? Well, maybe you shouldn't be speeding 100 miles per hour, whatever he was allegedly going outside of the stadium or getting ready to pull into the stadium. You asked for this attention. You put yourself in a position to line yourself up for an excessive cop. So let's keep going, and then we're going to play a little bit of his agent and what his agent's response was after this. But I think, and we actually are going to play a few different videos on this, because the more I looked at this, it's the people that are reporting on this topic. For whatever reason, it seems people have like completely lost their mind when it comes to holding Tyreek Hill accountable in this situation. And I'm going to show a couple videos actually after this one that we'll be able to review and see people's response, because what is this all about? How people respond to situations, just like how Tyreek responded to being in the position that he was in. How we respond to these situations and hear like people's thoughts when they see this video, it's very telling. It's very telling. And we're going to get into a couple women that I want to share or show their perspectives on it. And it's just very interesting how we see these type of situations happen. And it really just seems that what we talk about all the time really is just happening because people feel that they've been victims for so long, oppressed for so long, had racism committed against them for so long. It seems that everything that happens to people, you will just see it through that lens of something is happening to me. There's different types of people that move around in this world. Some people just move through life. You ever been around those people where everything just seems to happen to you? They go through life like, oh my God, this happened to me. Like nothing's ever your responsibility. Nothing's ever because of something that you caused to happen. There's no cause to the effect. It's just all effect based. It's just like, oh, this happened to me. That's what we're encouraging, in my opinion. And that's what is going to land another young man in this same position as Tyreek Hill and maybe worse.
But at the end of the day, I wish I could go back and do things a bit differently. It's shell shocking, man. It's really.
And I just saw, what up, B? Just saw my bro in here. He ain't even get his ass beat for real, for real. That's the thing. Like, this is so over. And it's almost like, all right, so you know how we were in high school, Bino, and we used to watch the older cats' highlight tapes. You know how you used to watch the highlight tapes of the cats that came before you? I know that was a big thing growing up in Montclair. Like they used to have mixtapes, like the old VHS tapes of every year. And those tapes used to go around like, it was like, yo, who has the tape? It was like almost a menace to society. It's like, yo, who got the tape? And we would just watch highlight tapes of the people that came before us all the time, whether it was Pell, whether it was Gus, whether it was Hanif, whether it was Ricky Cook, whether it was like we would just watch highlight tapes of the legend Stretch, the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Well, Ace my GOAT, but y'all know what it is. TBE is Stretch, GOAT is Ace. But neither here nor there. But we would watch these tapes. This is what I'm seeing happening. Tyreek Hill thinks he's like Rosa Parks or somebody. Like Tyreek Hill in this situation, he's acting as if, and a lot of people are acting as if this is his stand. Like, oh, I'm George Floyd going through something. This is what it's almost like people want to be like this, even though he's saying he doesn't want attention. It's like you're embracing this victimhood of Jim Crow, and I'm going through all these different. It's just too much. It's just too much. You did not get the dog beat out of you. You were not beat. You were not beaten, bro. Stop it. Like, you don't have to over dramatize things. And I'm realizing that whether it's the debates, whether it's anything in life, people who over like play their hand when they're describing a situation, it's more dramatic than what it actually happened. Like, I question those things, and I question why people are condoning it. But let's keep going.
It's really crazy to know that you have officers in this world that would literally do that with body cams on. It's sad. It's really sad.
Hold on. And everybody's acting as if this cop that came from behind him when he did not want to sit down, as the officer who seemed to be the one officer seemed to be, and I think it's the same officer that initially came up to his window, but he seemed to be pretty much more in control of the situation. He wasn't the excessive person. But even when we talk about excessive, look at this video right here. Like, do we think that it's that excessive? He didn't pull him down by his neck. Yeah, he came around his shoulder, but he's grabbing his chest. Look at this.
You have officers
after he won't sit down
that would literally do that.
Is this dude weird? I mean, you could say his hands kind of up near his chain, so maybe, but in my opinion, I don't see this as him trying to choke him. I see it as him trying to grab him and put him on the ground.
Body cams on. You know,
like, y'all tell me.
In this world, that would literally do that with body cams on.
All right, it's not around his neck. Like, relax, bro. Like, this is, people will say what they want about, my response to it, but like, enough is enough.
You know, it's sad. It's really sad. Which brings up another conversation and leads into what would they do if they didn't have body cams?
What would you do if they didn't have body cams? How would you conduct yourself? And that brings up another question. I'm not just banking on them moving in a particular way because I think that they have body cams on. They could turn those body cams off. So if you're really concerned with your well-being, I would move as if there are no body cams. And I would conduct myself in a way as if there's no body cams. And then you deal with the situation after that. Like, all right, so I want to go to a couple people's response of his response, and y'all tell me what y'all think. Hold on, which one do I want to go to? Let's listen to his agent real quick. Hold on, let me hide this real quick. I want y'all to hear his agent Drew Rosenhaus's response. Boom.
And tonight, we're learning more about the Miami-Dade police officer who pulled Tyreek Hill out of his car. Danny Torres works in the hammocks. Police there say the way he treats strangers stands out for reasons that they say you need to hear. CBC's Miami's Larry Seward is live in the hammocks tonight, and Larry Torres is well known, but Tyreek Hill's lawyer wants the officer terminated.
That's true, Jim. And late tonight, the lawyer for Tyreek Hill emailed us this one-page statement calling for Officer Danny Torres to lose his job for excessive force, for escalating and reckless use of force.
Yo, do y'all think that the guy should lose his job? And this is something that we talked a little bit about in my group chat. But do y'all think that he should lose his job? I haven't spent much time thinking about this particular aspect of the situation, but like, I tend to think about it the same way I kind of responded in my group chat yesterday. It's like, I could see him on some desk duty, maybe suspended. He was excessive. You do have to hold yourself to a higher standard as a police officer. Period. You should be punished for your actions. Everybody should be held accountable. But to lose his job, that may be a bit excessive. I don't know. What do y'all think?
For putting hands on Tyreek Hill's neck and a knee in his back. Meanwhile, people living and working near this Hammocks District Patrol Station, they know Officer Torres as Danny, an officer known for making a different kind of impact.
Get out! Get out! Damn!
The man behind that badge is Officer Danny Torres, a 27-year Miami-Dade police veteran working off-duty Sunday when body-worn camera recorded him pull Tyreek Hill out a car and force the Dolphin star to the ground during a traffic stop that landed Torres on desk duty for his actions.
No es solo un oficial, es amigo y cliente.
Irma Peña's known Torres 15 years and in Spanish says he's not just an officer but a friend and client. She helps manage a restaurant near the Hammocks District headquarters where Torres works.
Es muy amable, yo lo conozco hace 15 años.
In Spanish, she says he is very nice. I've known him 15 years. He's always here with a group of friends, officers, and he's helpful. He's patient. People see them here and bring problems wanting to help, and he always does. Of all the officers that come in, he is one of the best and kindest. 4 years ago, many in this community rallied around Torres when he was in a coma on a hospital bed for nearly 3 weeks after a motorcycle crash. People in the hammocks.
All right. We see what they're doing. Like, I don't need any of this on either side, but this is what happens when there's excessiveness all over. Like now we're going to hear the heroic story of Danny Torres. I'm just looking at it. I guess I'm just removing. I try to just remove all the emotional aspects of it. I'm just looking at the particular situation. So if it's okay with y'all, I'm going to move on to a different video. Not to say that the things that they're saying about him aren't necessary now that they're calling for him to get fired. I get it. But that's not what I wanted us to focus on. You know, they'll figure that out on their own. But when it comes to just the situation, that's what I wanted us to focus on, because I think that's the most important when it comes to saving the lives of people or preventing certain situations from happening when there are these interactions. So let's move on to this video. So there's this new show, The Facility. It's got, I think, Shady McCoy on there, James Jones, a couple other people, Acho. And I want y'all to take a look at how they respond after, I want to be very clear, seeing the video. I want y'all to take a look at this. Hold on. Hold on. Is this on? Hold on. Are y'all seeing this one? Hold on. Just want to make sure that I'm showing the right. Oh, I'm like, hold on. I'm showing the wrong stream. Hold on. My bad. I'm showing the wrong video.
Created for breaking down tape. It wasn't just created for laughs about X's and O's. The facility was created to have real, authentic, vulnerable, raw conversations. This is the most important conversation that I will have all day, sitting with all these athletes, 40 years of NFL experience, so you all can literally put yourselves in the position of being a player going to a game when something like this occurs. Shady, I want to...
Yeah. It's like, yo, this is not about putting yourself in a position of a player, bro. Like, what? Why? It's not about putting your situation. It's not like Tyreek Hill had his shoulder pads and jersey on as he was driving to the game. This has nothing to do with him being, I don't know.
Ask you first. You played with Tyreek Hill, if I am not mistaken.
Yes,
you won a
friend of
Super
mine,
Bowl
yeah.
with Tyreek Hill. Obviously, you know Tyreek Hill well, your teammate, your brother, amongst others. Shady, what's your reaction to the body cam footage?
This is terrible, right? And I'm a good friend of Tyreek Hill. And I'm so mad it happened, but on the other side, I am kind of glad it did happen. You know why? Because you get to see what it feels like to be a black man in America, though, right?
Yo, for all y'all, this is what it feels like to be a black man in America in your $100,000 car with your diamond chains on, getting ready to go to a game where you got limo tint on your whip, and a police officer comes up to it, and you could just say, yo, don't knock on my window like that. Just give me my ticket and be on your way, bro. This is what it's like to be a black man in America, apparently.
The difference is this person, this young man that's getting detained like this, is a superstar athlete. So he's going to continue to have his life. If it's somebody else, they might not have their life. They might not have had a chance to go to the Dolphins game. They might have got shot. The problem with this is the way they're handling him, you'd have thought he robbed a bank, he did a murder, he did attempted murder, he did something.
Imagine the level of privilege and elitism that he's discussing when he's saying that person, look at how they're treating him. Like he robbed a bank. No, they're treating him like somebody who, if he was not Tyreek Hill, like they're giving him grace. You walk up as an officer to a car with limo tint, you don't know. How do you know what's going on the other side of that car? We hear all the crazy stuff that happens to these cops. Why can't we just call out both sides of it? Why can't we say that, yo, that police officer, one of them was acting like an asshole, excessive, okay, cool. Tyreek Hill caused the situation, escalated the situation, and was moving like a jackass. Why can't we say that? Like, why can't we just say both and move forward from there? Why can't we show the things that Tyreek should have been doing better rather than just acting as if like this baby type superstar mentality that they feel that they have so much privilege, right? But then this is what it's like to be a black man in America. Like, make it make sense. I'm confused about it.
A speeding ticket? You get all this?
No, this is not for a speeding ticket. This is not for a speeding ticket. Truth be told, it was probably the arrest video of Dylan Roof. Remember the crazy dude that shot up the church? The arrest video for Dylan Roof, who was probably just sitting there, or it's how you're responding. How you're responding. It doesn't matter whether you get pulled. You can get pulled over for a speeding ticket and get treated worse than if you do something like Dylan Roof, and if you're sitting there. That just is what it is. It just is what it is. Should the police officers come in when they see Dylan Roof and just because what he did, just beat the shit out of him? Maybe cool. But acting as if he got treated how he was treated because of the speeding ticket is super ignorant. He got treated the way that he was treated, the way that he responded to the situation. He put himself in this position. And now, because of all these grown men that young kids look up to, are condoning Tyreek's behavior in a lot of ways by only condemning the officer and not focusing on the things that Tyreek Hill did wrong. Now, a lot of kids looking up to this are going to be thinking that they can do the very thing.
This is crazy.
We already talked about
we
this.
want the police to protect and serve. Is that like protecting? Is that like serving? No. So the problem is when you see something like this, it's going to go viral because who the person is. I want people to see, because this is common in our society. This is super common. And now everybody, I don't care what age, what race.
Which part is common? How Tyreek acted or how the police acted? Or both? Which one is common?
You know this is wrong. And when you see this, just think, if he wasn't Tyreek Hill, it could have gotten way more serious.
You know, every time I see situations like this, I think about my two boys. And just how you got to prepare these dudes for situations like this. Got to do that right. Got to do this right. Got to do this. Got to do that. Even if you are right. Even if you're not wrong. For me, what really stood...
He was wrong, though. He was wrong, though.
...out in this whole video is, why are you so angry and aggressive, dog?
Who? Tyreek or the officer? Because the initial officer that came up to Tyreek, did he sound angry? He didn't slam your door. He didn't bang on your door, just knocked on your door. Knocked on your window. Who is he referring to as just angry and aggressive? Like,
really stood out in this whole video is, why are you so angry and aggressive, dog? Like, for real, like, you even angry and aggressive.
Yo, these people think that they're taking a heroic stand against oppression, against slavery, against Jim Crow. That's what they think that they're taking a stand against. That's not what happened in this video.
At the people there trying to support Tyreek. Like, Calais Campbell got his hands up like this, and he ain't even part of the situation because he like, don't pull your gun out me, don't shoot. Like, this is crazy. When you see cops, you're supposed to think like, cool, I see a cop, man, we protected, we good around here. Well, if you're a black dude, you feel even more scared. I go back, I'm watching this video. Tyreek Hill is so scared talking to his agent on that phone as that phone is on the ground. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, he didn't roll his window down. He rolled his window down, gave you his driver's license, and then he rolled his window back up. Then you go and yank him out of the car like he, like...
You can't do that. So I don't understand. Like, yo, if you know me, yeah, I don't understand. If those are the rules that are set, then those are the rules, bro. Especially in a interaction with somebody who has a gun, who's somebody who's enforcing the law, whether you agree with it or not. What
Shady said, like he done did like a robbery or he got a gun or what? Like, it's just.
Or he got a gun. You don't know who, you don't, as an officer, do you know who, you don't know if he has a gun. And for all those that are not Tyreek Hill and you get pulled over, if you have limo tint on your car, an officer cannot see in, an officer doesn't know, even if you have, the fish bowl, an officer don't know.
It's disappointing, man. It's disappointing.
I feel like we're being repetitive because we already dove so deep into this, but I just had to, the reactions to these things are so important. The reactions to these things are so important. because it's setting the example, it's setting the standard of how we'll see these situations, especially young kids. Our reactions to it are going to set the tone on how young kids see this situation. Oh, yo, Tyreek ain't do nothing wrong. Look at them. The people that I look up to, they put it on the officer. Yeah, all these police officers, man, they just racist. They just this. And then it's like, yo, this is on Tyreek. What did I also say with the officer? Yes, it has to. Yes, the officer has blamed the one that was excessive. But everybody's saying that. Nobody is saying anything about Tyreek.
Pointing to where,
and I don't mean nobody. I'm referring to this show in this conversation right now.
you're really supposed to feel safe around them, but we feel threatened. And like I say,
Yeah, I understand that he's trying to speak for all of black people in America, but I think that that's false. Like, really, you don't feel like you feel like your life when police come around. And this is it. What's so funny about this? This is the same goofy stuff that had all the Democrats and liberals running around talking about defund the police after the George Floyd situation. And you know what happened with defund the police? You know the people that were complaining the most? Black people in the community, of these impoverished communities where crime went up. Those were the same people complaining about the police not doing anything, the police taking forever to respond to emergencies, criminals taking over police stations, taking over neighborhoods. It was the people in the community. You see these situations happen all the time, whether it's in the Bronx, whether it's in Chicago, whether it's in a lot of these other impoverished areas. The actual community is saying, hey, we need more police in these areas. Now, after the defund the police that all the politicians pushed, now those are the same people saying that they don't have funding for police. I forget what position the lady in California, she was screaming for that. And I believe Kathy Hochul was as well, the governor of New York. You went from talking about defund the police to now saying, well, we don't have a budget to hire police officers. Bruh.
hey, superstar athlete or not, I think about my kids. And if that was my kids I see getting yanked out of the car for going 10 miles over the speed limit, I'm right outside the stadium where I play. This is ridiculous. And it got to get fixed because obviously we all know it's not just happening to Tyreek Hill, but this got to get fixed.
They're focused on right outside the stadium where I play. No, what you need to focus on is somebody who's not Tyreek Hill. That's what y'all keep saying. What if it wasn't Tyreek Hill? What would have happened? Focus on that.
But for you to come up there and just be that angry off the rip and not just
that angry off the rip. Anybody that sees that video, if you heard somebody say somebody was angry off the rip, who would you think he's referring to? Tyreek Hill or the police officer? Tyreek Hill. Yo, there's no sides. There's no rooting for everybody black, rooting for everybody white. There's no, bro, it's just the truth of what happened. It's just the facts of what happened.
Pulling him out the car. Then you tackle him to the ground a second time as he's standing up with the other cop just standing there right there with him handcuffed. You come tackle him and put him back on the ground.
No, the other officer asked him to sit down. He did not.
All right, come on, man. All that stuff is unnecessary, for real.
I just thought it was excessive, specifically speaking to the second situation that you saw.
Now, of course, you got a white guy on a show with three black guys who are all acting as if what just happened was right out of Jim Crow. Tyreek Hill almost, they almost put him up on a tree. That's how these people are acting. So what do you expect this white guy to now come in and say? Of course, they already went over and pre-show, hey, you're going to say this, you're going to say that. What are we really expecting this white guy to say? Do we really think he's going to keep it real? Do we really think he's going to keep it real? When he went home to his family and he had a conversation about the Tyreek Hill situation, I'm pretty sure that it went a lot different. I'm pretty sure that it went a lot different than what he's going to now share with the world.
On film where Tyreek's standing there, Tyreek's telling the cop, hey, I had surgery on my knee. Like, just give me a second to sit down, and he yanks him down. Like, he's Tyreek in that situation, like, he's being real.
I just needed a second for my knee. Is that what y'all think happened? I just had surgery on my knee.
You know what I mean? And it's just an unfortunate situation all around for the Miami Dolphins because, look, at the end of the day, this is way bigger than the game, but you saw.
This is why a lot of athletes are not successful in life. This is why a lot of high school superstar athletes are not successful in college. This happens all the time in the town that I grew up in, and I'm going to assume that it happens in a lot of other towns. When these athletes are superstars their entire life, they are used to receiving favoritism. They are used to receiving favoritism to the point where it cripples them. It cripples their perspective on reality. These gentlemen that played in the NFL, y'all heard the experience that they said, what, 40-something years or whatever, how many years, 30-something years of NFL experience in that room? These people have been treated like superstars their entire life with favoritism, and that's how they go through life. Now, they were able to make it to the NFL. Who I'm referring to are the people that don't. The people that don't. And we all know those people. Those people that were the superstars in middle school, superstars in high school, and they go to college, and then it's like, damn, what happened to such and such? Oh, you know, they just were misbehaving. They could not handle it. They could not handle just being a teammate to where everybody was the best player on their high school team. You're in college. So what? You don't get that same level of favoritism that you may have had in high school. Now, these gentlemen, obviously, they had successful NFL careers, so it worked out for them in a particular way. But what about everybody else? What do we see happen to those kids that receive favoritism in football? It cripples them. It alters their perspective on reality in life because they think that they're owed certain things. They walk through life with this elitist, entitled mindset. That's all we're hearing. And they get this elitist, entitled mindset because people never correct them. People never hold them to the same standards of everybody else. And then what happens? It's like when somebody actually does, then they think that, like, yo, they're being oppressed. They play victim. They're like, yo, I've been treated with favoritism my entire life. Now I'm just treated as everybody else. And now I think that I'm being treated unfair. Tyreek Hill was treated better because he was a football player. He was treated better than anybody else that would have behaved in the way that he behaved if they weren't Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill brought this upon himself. But they're more concerned with highlighting the officer who was excessive. Oh, my God, did you see the way he took him down on the ground? Rather than the position that a Tyreek Hill puts himself in when you're in an interaction with an officer that has a gun on him, that doesn't know what you have on you, and is pulling you over for you doing something that was wrong. What's wrong with just having your window down? What's wrong with just, you don't even have to say, officer, yes, sir. You don't have to say all that. It could be helpful. You can put a little pride to the side, put a little ego to the side. Officer, how you doing today? May I ask what I'm, being pulled over for? While you're in a position, it's all about, there's so many other forms of communication outside of what you're saying. It's the body language. It's all these different things, right?
Have a game to get ready for, right? And you're star wide receiver, like Shady was saying, you're a superstar. For a traffic violation, for speeding, it's a little bit much for me to be able to be thrown on the ground like that, especially like Tyreek's trying to make his case, right? Mm-hmm. Tyreek's like, hey, listen, I got my knee, it's hurting, like I just had surgery, and then he pulls him down. Look, it's just at the end of the day.
Yo, Malcolm X used to speak on this, and it's so funny. So this is, we should definitely do that. We're going to review, because I just thought about it, the ballot or the bullet. Malcolm X, I just said Malcolm. Did I say Malcolm X just spoke on this? So there's a Malcolm X speech on this that I used to listen to. And a lot of his speeches always talk about how there's going to be liberals, a lot of white liberals that will pose as people that are just trying to do favors for us, give you candy, but then not explain to you that the candy is going to cause you to have health problems. You get what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of white liberals, like this white gentleman right here, this liberal, that are going to convince black men and black people that we're entitled to so much because we've been oppressed. All these different things. And they're going to position certain things in a way that seem super favorable to us, but actually put us in harmful situations. What this guy should have done is I am confident that he knows damn well that Tyreek Hill put himself in this position. And if he was on a panel with 3 white guys instead of 3 black guys, his energy would be different and he would be saying different things. He would feel comfortable saying those things. He does not feel comfortable being real on this show. He doesn't feel comfortable being real. And that would be the best thing that the other 3 people on the panel could hear and the rest of the people tuning in could hear. But people don't want vitamins. People want candy. People don't want the things that are going to make them better. People want the things that that are going to make them feel better. He's trying to make people feel better instead of to upping people's standard to being better, to putting people in a better position to be in a situation with an officer and it goes smoothly and not even be an issue. Tyreek Hill said he doesn't want attention. Okay, if you don't want attention, if you don't want, you're a superstar, you don't want cameras and videos and all that, then I'm going to show you some things that you could do. I'm going to show you exactly how to speak to an officer. Very simple. You can't want one. You can't say you don't want attention or, getting pulled over, but then you're behaving like that. Come on, man. Especially after you know that you put yourself in this position. He clearly realized that or acknowledged that he was speeding. He said, yo, just give me my ticket so I can leave. I'm almost late. Like that's how you're going to communicate with that officer and think that you're going to come out of the situation just, scot-free, that you're not going to put yourself in a position to where you may get a dickhead officer that is going to be excessive. Come on now.
It's not the way you want to start the season off for Tyreek. It's not the way that you want the season to start off for the NFL. And then when you go into the locker room like this, you're having to deal with this as well. You're trying to gather information. Tyreek and Calais are probably trying to tell Coach what happened. And Coach is trying to get all this information in his head as well. Like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like, where do I need to go? Who do I need to reach out with?
Oh no, we feel so bad. These NFL players, oh no, they had to deal with Tyreek Hill. He almost got arrested. He was a part of the civil rights movement and they were marching and they brought the dogs out in the hoses and now we got to play a football game. Bro, stop it. Stop. How do we have grown men condoning this behavior? You heard how one thing that stood out when Tyreek Hill was speaking in that situation, he sounded like a child. How he talking to, yo, bro, like, yo, I'm gonna be on my way. You heard, like, the way that he communicates is childish, but because he's an athlete, that's a superstar, and makes $100 million contract, he does not feel that he needs to improve in certain areas of his life. And when you have people like this condoning your behavior, why would you? Why would you think that you need to look internally and say, hey, what could I have done differently? What should I have done differently? What do I owe it to the people that follow me, the people that I have influence over to do something differently?
Do I need to call Drew Rosenhaus? At the end of the day, he's probably not even thinking about the game, right? Like Mike McDaniel, he's not.
Oh, man. He's not thinking about the game.
You saw him get choked up yesterday. So it's just a really unfortunate situation all the way around.
I see a couple things. And oftentimes, far too often, we see this. That the badge can eliminate an officer's ability to see an individual as human. I want to remind.
Yo. We're in a bad place. A disappointing place. The badge is eliminating him from seeing Tyreek Hill as human. These people are full of it. These people are full of it. Imagine if they were police officers. Imagine if they were police officers and somebody behaved in the same way as Tyreek Hill. So you're saying that, so how should the police officer have acted by seeing Tyreek Hill as human? Like, what does that even mean? Like, if he sees him, yeah, he saw him as another human that was acting and behaving like a child, acting and behaving in a way that you're not supposed to behave, not listening to instructions, not following whatever protocol the cop was going through. Like, what are we talking about? We got to move on. We got to move on. After he said that, we're moving on because I don't want to there's like a few other videos that I want y'all to look at. So there's two other in particular. I want to show y'all. And you know what's so funny about the video that I'm getting ready to show y'all? So the video, this is from Mason Cameron. So Mason Cam, hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing the screen. So Mason Cam, if you're not familiar with Mason Cameron, two former rappers, they have a show called It Is What It Is. As they're speaking and giving their feedback, I want y'all to pay attention to how here you have rappers, right? Supposed to be, you know, I wouldn't say the most intelligent people, you know, how people perceive them, the prejudice based on being a rapper. But you have these people, and based on Cam and me knowing about Cam and Mace's background, they come from Harlem. Mace, both came from an impoverished area, especially Mace. I'm not going to say especially Mace came from that area, but I just know based on knowing their careers that Mace grew up very poor. Not to say that Cam didn't, but whatever. Listen to how they respond to the situation compared to the entitled athletes. Listen to how they respond.
Cam footage of Tyreek Hill's detainment was released. The police approached Tyreek and knocked on his window. Tyreek told the officer, "Don't knock on my window like that." He then didn't want to roll his window down, and the situation completely escalated. After seeing the footage, what are you guys' thoughts on the incident?
Oh, man.
To be honest with you, were they excessive? Yes. Did they overdo it, knee in the back, you know, wrangled them down, face down, etc.? Yes, they were excessive. But to be honest with you, and I'm not taking the police side, if Tyreek would have gave them niggas his license, it probably would have been over with in 5 minutes. Yo, I got a game. I'm Tyreek Hill. Sorry about not having my seatbelt on. I got to go. That would have been the end of it. I mean, man, don't knock on my fucking window like that, nigga. Nigga knocking on his window.
That's what I'm talking about.
You got the people that are supposed to be ignorant, right? You got the people that are supposed to be the silly rappers. Cam just broke it. Yo, Cam in 30 seconds just broke this down exactly how anybody, were they excessive? Yeah, but Tyreek, you're bugging. You should have just handled it like this and it would have been done. Why is that so hard for all those other brothers, these NFL brothers with all 30, 40 years of experience in the NFL? Why is it so hard for them to understand that? Because they're speaking from a position where I would dare to say, I don't know how Acho, James Jones, or Shady grew up. I don't know how they grew up. But from Cam and Mace's experience, it seems like, this isn't even a thing. But there you have the NFL players that are trying to act like they're fighting this civil rights battle in the 60s, trying to overcome slavery or Jim Crow. What are you talking about? And then you have Cam just break it down exactly as it should be broken down. Somebody because all of those, what James Jones said, black people, we don't feel comfortable when we see the cops. We don't feel. They're telling you one thing, but the people that grew up in Harlem, grew up in the hood, grew up in these impoverished, they looking at Tyreek like, bro, what is you doing? You're bugging.
But that's the aggression.
But this is what I'm saying. Just think about it. Sometimes, a lot of times, not just police scenarios or anything, you kill people with kindness. And if you kill them with kindness, they can't say nothing. So if he would have just gave him his license, like, look, I got a game in a minute. Could you please give me my ticket because I'm going to be late? Probably wouldn't have happened. Were they overly aggressive once the situation got out of hand, the police I'm talking about? Yes, absolutely. Knee in the back, putting their arm around his neck, etc. But I'm telling niggas how to avoid that. Because a lot of times we do get angry when you come up to our window. Like, I'll give you a situation with a police officer with me. I already know I'm just not arguing with police. Because like May said, we was talking about it off camera. Right then and there, they're the judge and jury. So if they feel like they should shoot you or tase you or lock you up or whatever, you don't get to tell your case till later. Yeah. That particular moment right there, they get to decide what's going to happen. And, I was speeding. We was racing on the highway one day and I got pulled over. And the cop pulled me over and I was speeding. I know I was doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, etc. But he had me wait for 30 minutes for he processed the ticket, etc. So he's holding my ticket in the hand and he's giving me a lecture. And I told him, are you going to give me the lecture or the ticket? I don't want both. I don't mind taking one or the other, but I don't want to be lectured if you're going to give me a ticket. He said, you know what, stay right there. I'll be right back. And made me wait another 35 minutes to get wherever I had to go. He's like, I was thinking about which one I want to give you. Here's the ticket. But he wasted an hour and a half of my time. So these niggas you got to realize, these police be mad, they be aggy, they probably not getting the pay that they want to pay. You in these foreign cars.
All right. And shout out to Big Bro. All right. So some of y'all may not know. So Brandon, I just highlighted his comment. That's Big Bro. He's retired chief of police. He's a retired chief of police. And I didn't want to volunteer that information, but since you volunteered it, you know what I mean? I think it's definitely relevant for the conversation, obviously. So Brandon wrote, this is bowing down to a narrative and not speaking truth. This is exactly what this is. This is bowing down to a narrative. Now he's not talking about Cam. I don't think you're talking about Cam. I think I was just a little late in the comments. He's not talking about Cam. He's talking about what Shady was talking about on the show, The Facility. They were just bowing down to a narrative because that's what everybody does. We see it in every aspect of politics where, everybody's saying joy now. Everybody's saying we are now. Like, they literally have the same sound bites. This happens in the media. Everybody gets together and says, hey, how can we spin this? Just like I think Urs wrote. I know I'm missing a bunch of the comments, but I think Urs wrote, everybody's trying to figure out a way to spin it. Like, I don't understand. These people that get on these TV shows, they do not care about your lives, bro. They do not care about your life. They do not care about your life. They will say, and they are paid puppets. How can they see this tape and have the perspective that they had on it? Then you see a Cameron, like, it's just very clear. Let me keep going with Brandon's comment. Reality is that Tyreek's actions caused this incident, period. Like it just is what it is. As a retired chief of police, I understand how this scenario played out. Pathetic. I agree. Urs wrote this. Remember, they two sit in a room and discuss how to spend this for money. I agree. Brandon wrote, policing is dangerous. Rudeness escalates things. It goes both ways. Officer tone does matter as well. Following directions is for everyone's safety. Twisting facts only worsens the problems. Agreed. Cameron looks like a public defender in an oversized suit. Yo, chill out, Urs. Get off my bro. Maya wrote, could also be the difference of growing up in New York City. Very well. Very well. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's a certain level of, you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny? I'm going to say something that I'm not sure. I have no factual evidence behind it. But people that live a certain life, if you committed certain levels of crimes or just, I don't know, dabbled in whatever, in my opinion, those type of people, they know what they're doing is wrong. They may not condone it, but if you got a group of people, this would be my take. This is the world that we live in. And this is what I'm trying to say. Imagine if you got 100 people from two different neighborhoods, two different types of neighborhoods. You got 100 people, black people that are doing super successful in life right now, doing very well. Let's just say doing very well. And then you got 100 people that may be living in impoverished areas. I guarantee, my opinion is that, and if you show them this video, those 100 uppity black folk that are successful, and I'm calling them uppity, they may not be uppity, but let's say we know the type of black folk that I'm talking about, the liberals, the ones that are acting as if Kamala is going to save us from Trump putting us in chains and shackles, all that. We know who I'm talking about. It doesn't even have to fall into that category exactly. But if you just got black people that are doing very successful in life financially, I'm just talking financially. And then you got people that were impoverished or that may be still impoverished. I believe that the people that are impoverished are going to look at this video and be like, yo, Tyreek acted like a dumbass and put himself in this situation. Meanwhile, you got the people that probably won't have to deal with the situation on the same level as the people in the hood, but they're the ones that are going to be running around because they want this level of attachment to the hood. They want this narrative that they're connected with black folk in the hood. So they're going to now push this narrative where it's just like, nah, it was just all on the officer. Tyreek ain't do nothing. It was all on the officer. Meanwhile, the actual people in the hood, they're looking at it like, bro, like what? Like, nah, Tyreek was bugging. Just how Cam said it very clearly. This is how I see what's happening. And this is what I mean when I say the liberals and what Malcolm X warned us of, where you have a group of liberals, in my opinion, that are going to sit there and pat you on the back and say, oh, you didn't do anything wrong. No, it's just the system. It's because you've been oppressed for so long. It's because of slavery. It's because of... They're lying to you because they want to make you feel good. Meanwhile, what they should be doing is telling you the real, because it's not even consistent. Okay, let's say that those people are right. That let's say that every police officer is racist. According to James Jones, he said black people don't feel comfortable, or I'm not even sure if that's his name. I'm talking about in the previous video. Black people don't feel comfortable around cops. Tyreek Hill looked extremely comfy. As we're watching that video, I'm like, damn, bro, comfortable enough saying that to an officer? He comfortable enough speaking like that? He comfortable enough talking to somebody, engaging in that when they got a gun on them? And they're all racist. They're all racist, right? So it's not even consistent. It's a contradiction. If they are racist, why would you not tell Tyreek that he should know better and conduct himself with better behavior? Because they know it's BS. They know it's BS. They don't care. They're just trying to make you feel better. Are there bad apples? Like they said, yeah, but let's just look at this situation. We don't have to look at every situation. We can just judge this situation. Tyreek was bugging. He was wrong. Let me try to catch up. Oh man, I'm late. All right. Side note, I met Mace back in the day. Lana, what's up, Lana? In London. Good guy. He even sang for us. Earth wrote, Cam speaking truth though. Queez wrote, crazy how people brag about having less and growing up in terrible neighborhoods. It's like the things that we want to be connected with is insane. Growing in, he ain't even get hit. Hold on, my fault. Shoot, I'm behind on this. Hold on. Hold up. Crazy how people brag. Growing up in New York City, I can tell you firsthand how the disrespect towards the police is excessive. Yeah, we know what it is. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep going with the video though.
They angry. I'm not saying that Tyreek did nothing wrong, but I'm telling black Americans, these niggas don't like when we styling. So just be careful out there. And especially, we got kids and nephews and cousins and nieces that's young coming up.
I disagree with that part. Well, I agree with it and disagree with it. Everybody gets jealous when they see you in a nice car. And that's to be totally honest, and I've had this conversation with y'all before where I said, if I get pulled over, I'm being honest. If I get pulled over by a black cop, based on my situations, the situations that I had with police officers, I'm just being honest, and I've said this before with y'all, so hopefully y'all remember and y'all don't think I'm just using it to conveniently have this conversation. I'm more nervous with a black cop. Black cop get out the car, yeah, I'm getting a ticket. Why am I saying that? Because the 2 tickets, I think I've gotten 3 tickets in my life. One was at college, and I think it was I think he was a Spanish officer, Latino. Whatever. I ended up getting out of that one. Then the other 2 were black men. One was upstate, getting ready to go over Bear Mountain, and the other was driving down to a funeral of one of my roommates, my college roommates, family members, mother. And, I was with my mother in the car. Tell the officer, hey, apology. They have these setups on 95 or 13, whatever we were taking, going down south. They got these, it goes from 55 to 40, and now they catch you right there. Officer didn't care, gave me a ticket. Cool. I was speeding. I deserved a ticket. Cool. But all I'm telling y'all is if a black cop get off the car, I'm getting a ticket. I actually filmed my experience with white cops. I'll be totally honest. I've gotten pulled over. Most of the time, I, conduct myself in a way that whatever I got out of the ticket. I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm just being honest.
Y'all need to just relax. Don't argue, because 9 out of 10 times getting hostile with the police when you're pulled over doesn't go our way when you're a male or female of color.
So then that's where he went wrong, being aggressive.
Hold on, what story? Hold on, I just saw Maya say, tell the story of when you got pulled over in Indy. Which one? Text me real quick. You talking about before the on the way to training camp? I don't know which one you're talking about, but yeah, shoot me the text. But let's keep going.
I'm just saying, you told a nigga wild out or don't. That's what
No, I'm saying if you're gonna be that wild, then know that when you get out the car, they're just matching your energy. That's what they did. You showed a form of aggression, and they just matched it. He didn't mean it, but you know.
So if he was Tyreek Hill, if he wasn't him, would he have gone to jail normally? He went to jail, or he's detained. Point being,
Probably would have gotten more than that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Where we're from, if they tell you get out the car, and I'm like, you know what, bro, I ain't getting out the car.
Mm-hmm.
So then you know right there, it's like you being in the streets. You know, somebody say something to you, and you know you don't want smoke. You take the nonviolent approach. But
Get out the car. All right, so real quick. So this is the thing. Because he said cops don't like. Oh, so Cam. So this is why Maya wanted me to tell this story. So when I was in Indianapolis, I was getting ready to go to training camp. So there was one highway that everybody took from Indianapolis to where I forget where training camp was at some college, Anderson College. So everybody was taking the same route out of the city, out of Indy, to go to training camp. So the officers, this is responding to Cameron saying that, oh, these niggas don't like you styling on them and stuff, talking about the officers. Everybody goes off of their experience, but I'm gonna just tell y'all this story. So on our way to camp, I got pulled over, and I was maybe doing like 63 or 62 and a 55 or something like that. Wasn't anything crazy, or maybe even 60. I'm not even sure if I was more than 5 over. Which for me, I'm just in my mind, I'm just being honest. I'm thinking like, yo, that's safe. Like that's the safe zone. That 5 to maybe 7, whatever, over, depending on what, at least 5. Like you gotta give a little grace, and I think most officers do. So I get pulled over, and I'm like, damn, yo, I'm on my way to training camp. Like this is the last thing that I need, getting pulled over. So I get pulled over, and it was an officer on bikes. Actually, they were on bikes, just like these officers with Tyreek. And I get pulled over. An officer, he already walks out the car, off his bike with a ticket, like a piece of paper. And I'm like, damn, it looked like he got 2 tickets to give me. Comes up to my window, and I think I maybe had like a teammate in the car. I forget. It's probably like my man Mike Newt or somebody. And then he comes up to the window, and he says, "Yeah, or who was in the car? I don't know who was in the car. Whatever. Neither here nor there." And he says, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm just like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I think they even pulled us over on the left side, whatever. He comes up, he's like, "Yeah, so where are you headed to?" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm just headed to training camp, actually. Like, my apologies, if I was speeding. Didn't even notice it." He's like, "Well, no worries. Yeah, we know a lot of y'all are going to camp. So, I hate to ask, but you think I can get a couple autographs for the family?" And I'm like, yo, immediately I'm like, I'm kind of just relieved to the point where it's like, oh, like, you just want, like, cool, I'll give you an autograph. If you ain't gonna give me a ticket, give him an autograph, right? Boom. I'm like, oh, I just ditched that. I'm feeling good. I swear we were going up a little hill. And then as soon as I got over that hill, I swear within 3 miles, I got pulled over again. Like maybe within a mile. I got pulled over again for doing the same thing. I'm like, damn, I just got out of this one. I still was only going like 5 over. I'm like, all right, I'm going to definitely get a ticket on this one. Cop pulls me over, comes up to the window. He's like, hey, heard you guys going to camp. Like, can I get an autograph? I'm like, yo, the craziest thing. I'm like, yo, is this serious? And he just wanted a few autographs for his family. Keep going, get to camp. And now, we're kind of just sitting in there. It's like one of our first team meetings or whatever. Everybody was getting pulled over. And you could see, because we started to get text messages. We saying like, yo, there's cops on such and such. But the messages ended up being like, oh, yo, they were just asking for autographs and whatnot. So they ended up pulling a bunch of people. That was that little quick story. Sorry about that. But they weren't hating on us. They actually embraced us. You feel me? So I don't come on now. Cops maybe with Cam and Mace, it's different. Or maybe if you're doing certain things, if you're known for doing certain things in the hood and you're pulling up in that type of car, maybe it would be different. But for the athletes, knock it off. All of those athletes, Shady, James Jones, and Acho, the ones that played in the NFL, they know damn well that you get special treatment by the cops. Stop playing. You do not feel uncomfortable when cops are around. Matter of fact, if you were in the hood, you probably would feel a lot safer with cops in the hood. Stop playing, bro. Like, cats is just trying to associate themselves and tie themselves to the struggle so much that they'll just say anything. But let's keep going.
But if you take the violent approach when they get aggressive, can't act like you don't know what happened. You know what happened.
It's very simple.
I do just want to add though,
listen to this. Listen to this, what's about to happen. Please pay attention.
You don't know what happened. You know what happened.
I do just want to add though, violent or not violent, different outcomes happen to different people all the time. So it's like,
what does that even mean? Violent or not violent, different outcomes happen to people all the time. I don't even know what that means. But let's go back and let her have her entire. I didn't mean to cut you off, Stat.
You know what happened?
I do just want to add though, violent or not violent, different outcomes happen to different people all the time. So it's like, even though, you're saying don't be aggressive, people have different definitions of what you define aggressive as. Because I don't even think he was being aggressive. Granted.
That right there is why it's so dangerous with single mother households. That right there is why it's so dangerous, fellas. I don't care what your situation is. You have to be in your kids' lives. It doesn't matter. It's necessary. This right here, what we're seeing, is why we can't allow kids to be raised without fathers in the household. She just said, did you hear the dumb, what? The need to, you feel that you need to add that in? And let me ask you let's keep going. Hold on. Let's keep going. I'm gonna run it back a little bit. We have to hear this again.
I do just want to add though, violent or not violent, different outcomes happen to different people all the time. So it's like, even though, you're saying don't be aggressive, people have different definitions of what you define aggressive as. Because I don't even think he was being aggressive. Granted, obviously, I don't know Tyreek Hill personally, and neither do the police officers. That's just him being him. And
Tyreek was just being Tyreek. He wasn't being aggressive. Why didn't the officers know that Tyreek was just being Tyreek? And when Tyshawn in the hood or whoever else is in the hood is just being them, then why the officers should know that as well?
Like you guys were kind of saying, anybody can take that how they want to take that.
Yeah, so. I think
I'm getting ready to say something. Y'all know that I connect dots, man. Y'all know that I connect dots. And as Queez yesterday in the chat, I said, y'all know sometimes I connect dots that may not even be there. But I'm finna connect this dot. Why are you speaking on this subject? Stat. And just so y'all know, Stat, that's her. Treasure Wilson, the lady that was just speaking, that's her nickname. Everybody just call her Stat. They're a sports show, so Stat, statistics, yeah, all right, y'all get it. Why are you speaking on this? Why are you speaking on this? Why are you speaking on how, because we don't see these situations occur. You know, they happen sometimes, you know, a Sandra Bland when it's a woman, but we can agree that the overwhelming majority of these situations happen with black men, correct? That we're referring to, that's what they're talking about? Like, that's what the conversation is around based on Tyreek Hill being a black man, right? Okay. So why are you speaking on it? I'm not supposed to speak on abortion, right? As a man, I can't speak on abortion because that's a woman's choice. It's her body. I can't have an input on that, right? Okay. But you think your opinion matters when it comes to protecting a black man in a situation where he's pulled over by an officer. Because on abortion, you tell me, hey, I'll never know what it's like. Okay, cool. I'll never know. I'm only going to know from a man's perspective. Cool. Well, you will never know what it's like as a man being pulled over by a police officer. So why are you speaking on this? Here you have two men that are coming on TV saying and holding Tyreek Hill accountable to his behavior so that their massive group of followers and the people that they influence will not put themselves in a position like Tyreek Hill did, because everybody acknowledged that if you were not Tyreek Hill, that situation could have gone horribly wrong. But you have her goofy ass get on TV and feel the need. I just want to add, I don't even think he was being aggressive. Alana put it perfectly. She's the mom who justifies her son's bad behavior. This is why a father needs to be in the household. This is pitiful. And what's crazy is, this is why I always say that our men have been emasculated. Because look at the men on the other show. They're saying similar things to what Stat said. This is the problem. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to fit in a particular narrative. Everybody just wants to appeal so they can have money or be aligned with certain agenda. It's goofy.
I think the point that Killer said was really the point. They're the judge and the jury, so you don't decide. You comply. You comply because they have the vantage point to say whether.
And you know what this does? It takes away from a real situation. Y'all remember Philando Castile? Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. Y'all remember Philando? The one that behaved in a very... Maybe I don't even want to play that video. I'm gonna be totally honest. That was the gentleman that told the officer, hey, you know, I have a, you know, weapon in the car. Just want to let you know. He had his wife and his daughter in the car, and the officer like just panicked, just lost it, and ended up shooting him while his daughter's in the back and his child's mother or his wife are in the front seat, and she's recording it. It takes away from those situations when you condone this type of behavior, because what you do is you lump it all into the same category. No, that's not the same as Philando. George Floyd is not the same as Philando. But that's probably, y'all ain't gonna, I don't even want to go that route because whatever. Y'all ain't gonna see that how I see it. Cool. Philando Castile, when you have real situations of people that actually conducted themselves in a respectful manner and had situations happen to them, that's where you save your outrage for. That's where we save our outrage. But it waters down that type of situation to the point where I doubt that anybody was even thinking about that situation when we saw or discussing what's going on with Tyreek Hill. It waters down that situation because people aren't willing to just call this out for what it is. This shouldn't even have been a story like this. People using this to now fight civil rights and black people being held down. And this is why Kamala needs to get elected and Donald Trump can't be in office. These are the chains and shackles. All police hate black people. All this. Stop it. Stop. It's just not true. It's a narrative. I want to go to this last video on this topic. This last video. It's going to be Stephen A. Smith and Kimberly Martin. Hold on. I want to see if I have the video queued up here, but I want to see if I can see it. Hold on. Stephen A. Matter of fact, I'm going to show the exact video that I saw it on. No worries. We're just going to use the exact video. Hold on. I'd rather shout out. Matter of fact, who's this? Whose video is this? Self-Talk. So shout out to Self-Talk. I'll actually put the link to, hopefully I'll put the link in the link of his video. I'll make sure that I put it in the episode clip as well. But I want y'all to take a look at this. Look at how it already starts off. How I had it. Pay attention to this lady. Pay attention to this lady and pay attention to Stephen A's conversation. This is why I'm saying a lot of y'all probably saying, oh, he sounds sexist. You know, that I don't care what I sound like. I don't care what it sounds like. I'm speaking based on what I think is real and reacting with truth, giving you my honest perspective. If you think that I'm off, cool, I may be off, but at least I'm being genuine. I don't think that a lot of these people that we showed earlier are even being genuine. This is why I'm saying, and what am I saying? Oh, it's important for a dad to be in the household. This is why single mothers shouldn't be raising kids. Well, it is what it is. It's not like the stats don't back me up. It's not like when you compare a child growing up with a single mother compared to having two parents in the household where you don't see less daughters getting pregnant early, out of wedlock, boys going to jail sooner. All these, we see all these things.
Man. So it's looking like Kimberly Martin put Stephen A. Smith on blast again, live on ESPN First Take over this Tyreek Hill situation. Now, Stephen A. Smith.
Please, from the beginning of this video, look at her face. Of course, you can't hear what Stephen A. Smith is saying. Look at her face and look at her reaction. First and foremost, this is ESPN First Take. That's like, y'all know what the Daily Wire, like Ben Shapiro almost what is to Daily Wire. Like, it's not that to that extent. Stephen A. is not an owner or a co-founder of ESPN, but Stephen A. has the juice at ESPN, and this is his show. Look at how she is responding to him on his show. That's a side note. Even if it wasn't on his show, even if he was on her show, look at how she's responding to what he's saying. And of course, like I said, you can't hear the voice yet, but he must be saying something super outlandish, right?
Man. So it's looking like Kimberly Martin put Stephen A. Smith on blast again, live on ESPN First Take over this Tyreek Hill situation. Now, Stephen A. Smith, he has been covering this extensively on his podcast.
When you say that they were being, using excessive force, I'd like you to be specific with our audience exactly what you saw that makes you say that.
They were trying to yank him down to the ground, and so like I saw him, kick him and pull him down,
So this is his teammate, the one that came up. I believe he's an offensive lineman.
I mean, pulling the cuffs, shoulders.
Yeah, he's a big boy. So this is the big boy, I think, that came up first. I'm not sure if this is the one, but he got detained as well. But neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. And I didn't say big person to, he's a big boy to say like, oh, that's why the cops had to detain him. Cops need to be able to handle themselves and not be fearful of, a bigger guy. But the reality is, these, even them trying to pull Tyreek Hill out the car, those guys are not even on a level of strength or anything else like that. Like Tyreek Hill could have.
Look like they're messing up. They kind of
not to say that Tyreek Hill was going to beat them up, but I'm just saying, like, as far as they had to use some damn force to pull Tyreek down. That's why you just do what they say, so you don't even have to put yourself in that position. It's not like they're asking you. It's not like if a police officer asked you to do something crazy and you, okay, all right, well, still you should probably do it. But, I can, certain things, even if I'm in that position, I could see myself reacting. Like if a cop asked me to do something outlandish, I don't even know what outlandish would be, but I may not respond in the way that I would like to respond. I'm being honest. But after the situation, I would look at myself and say, Dak, you responded like a dumbass. And that's why you're in the position that you in. And that's what you gotta embrace. But they didn't ask him to do anything outlandish. Rolling your window down, bro. That's what you want to fight? That's the hill that you want to die on?
Got him down. I felt like the one officer was pushing on his head. and just was like completely unnecessary. And so, I got out, I had my hands up like this, approaching, and I'm just telling him like, hey, I'm a friend of his. I stood there for about 5 more minutes, and told him I'll stand where you want me to stand. Wherever you tell me how far I gotta back up, I'll back up, but I'm not leaving the scene. And I think
My fault. He D lineman. Shout out to my little bro Chris. He said D lineman. Let's keep going.
responded to him like, you can tow my car. I don't feel like I'm blocking traffic. He's like, that's it. You're under arrest. Puts me in handcuffs, and
Please
Tyreek's
do.
there. Obviously feeling distressed, and Jonnu Smith was there as well on the other side in front of him, and I was behind him. And he's like telling Jonnu, "Don't leave me, man. Don't leave me." And he's talking to me, and it's just like he's in an extreme situation that I don't think he should have been in. It was completely unnecessary. And so, we're here for you. We got your back. If they take us to jail, they take us to jail, but we're going to do this together.
The Stephen A. Smith Show. He's done a lot of videos covering.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not even mad at them. I'm not mad at his teammates. If I was his teammates, that's the type of situation where when you with your boys and stuff and you get into something, you're not going to be able to ask them right then and there. Like, say you get into it with another group of whatever. You're just going to have your boys back. Like, whatever they on, I'm on. Like, in the heat of it. But then afterwards, when you start having a conversation, I'm like, yo, what? Like, bro, who did this? Like, yo, you don't ever, you putting me in dumb positions because you want to move like an idiot. You're going to have that real conversation afterwards. You may not put it out there for the world. I understand that. But in a situation like that, so I'm not mad at his teammates. His teammates did what based on it. And keep in mind, his teammates didn't see the entire incident. They just see Tyreek Hill on the ground. So they did what they're supposed to do. Now, when I believe some of the officers said like something like, don't park there. Now, if they say don't do something and you're going to do it, then there's going to be certain responses to it. It just is what it is. But I'm still not saying that I have a problem, because at that time, they don't know what's going on. They don't know how the situation escalated. So I have no smoke for them.
Covering this topic. So I think maybe this is the reason why Kimberly Martin looks visibly frustrated while Stephen A. Smith is talking. As you can see right here, look at the video right here. This is Kimberly Martin's face while Stephen A. Smith was talking.
Shout out to my bro.
Right here, look at the video right here.
Hey, please, that's Jason. That's Jason, right? Shout out to my bro, Jason.
Face while Stephen A. Smith was talking live on First Take about this Tyreek Hill situation with the Miami police. And Kimberly Martin was visibly frustrated before she even gave her take to Stephen A. Smith. So let's check out what Stephen A. Smith said that got Kimberly Martin upset.
All right, now we're about to hear it. And if that's Devin, then my bad. But I think it's Jason. But let's pay attention to this. Let's
check out this video right here.
Well, it was nice to hear him admit what he admitted. I give him props for that. I would have preferred that he'd done that initially, because so many of us jumped out and supported him when we saw the initial video. And we haven't deviated from that because the officers were excessive and it was uncalled for a traffic stop to elevate to that point. But I like to remind everybody of the specifics, because sometimes we tend to gloss over that. Let's take this into consideration. We know what kind of world we're living in. We know how unfair it is. We know how black people, especially black men, are stigmatized when it comes to dealing with police. We all understand that. So knowing that, and knowing that whether it's his uncle or his grandpa or whomever told him, like so many of us have been told, Jason, Kimberly, roll down your windows, put your hand on the steering wheel, okay, and don't mouth off. Tyreek Hill could have got himself killed. When you have that window up, they don't know what's on the other side of that window. You don't know how they would have reacted. So thank God everybody's safe, and not additional harm. Safe.
Yo, look at her.
Have that window.
Look at her.
They don't know what's on the other side of that window.
And real quick, because I just saw, all right, hold on. I know I'm going all over the place, but I just saw Brandon wrote, interesting note, please keep in mind that it's not likely that race played a role in this at all. No way to likely see what race he was with dark tinted windows. Officers don't have superhuman powers. And this is the thing. I actually don't think that he was like this could have gone a lot worse. Because even though that officer, I believe that it was excessive, certain aspects of this, It could have gone a lot worse. Like on a scale of excessive, like there's certain cops that I feel like there's certain people that I know. Like, let's just keep it real. That if they were the officers and Tyreek got pulled over, this would have gone left. This would have gone in a much different way. I just believe that. Certain people, cops that I've seen in my town, I'm just gonna leave it there. I think that it would have just gone like, he's lucky. He's lucky that level of excessiveness, he's lucky that was his level of excessiveness. Because other people's level of excessiveness is totally different than that. And let me just ask y'all, so let's put a white person in that position. So if a white person was Tyreek Hill, are we saying that if a white person behaved exactly as Tyreek Hill behaved, do we think that like we're saying that something different would have happened? I'm just asking. Is that what we're trying to imply here? Let's keep going. But just before you answer that, look at her face.
You don't know how they would have
She just did
reacted.
with her lip.
They don't know what's on the other side of that window. You don't know how they would have reacted. So thank God everybody's safe, and not additional harm came to the situation. But I'm very, very happy he acknowledged that he could have handled the situation better.
What did Stephen A. say that was so crazy to warrant that response from her?
Okay, so that's what Stephen A. Smith said about the Tyreek Hill situation on ESPN First Take. He talked about it differently on his podcast. He talked about it in many different angles on his podcast, so maybe that's the reason why Kimberly Martin was possibly frustrated at Stephen A. and just the situation overall. So let's check out what Kimberly Martin had to say, putting Stephen A. Smith on blast for his take about the Tyreek Hill situation. Let's check out this clip right here.
I do think that it was very mature of Tyreek Hill to give those comments yesterday. I think things can always seem clearer with the benefit of hindsight. However, my issue lies with the fact that so many people, unlike Tyreek Hill, didn't have the benefit of hindsight. What should I have done differently? Ooh, if I had not done this, because they're not here to tell their story. The issue here is excessive use of force. I understand that, we can talk about the window, we can talk about all these things, but ultimately the reason the body cam video and what we saw on Twitter Sunday morning, why it affected so many of us that way is because of
Stephen A.
Because of how physical they were with him, how when he seemed to be compliant, how he was still treated. And so I think when I hear especially older generations talk about how to protect yourself, because these are the times we're living in.
Yeah, I just saw how Jason looked at her. Jason just looked at her like, I know she's saying some bull, but I'm just going to nod my head. And I'm trying to figure out how much I care about this job. Like you see it all in his face.
How to protect yourself, because these are the times we're living in. What that advice, while I understand it, it doesn't get to the root of the issue. It's we have to now brace ourselves for the world that is unfair. We have to change our behavior as opposed to talking about what the issue is. The world shouldn't be like that.
What happened? He was able to get through the situation. I'm saying to you, we can't ignore the fact that what we're asking for is unlikely not going to happen in a lot of situations. Most, yes, it will. Some, yes, it will. But in a lot more cases than not, what we believe should exist does not. And at the end of the day, I would rather us sit in front of the camera, in front of a microphone, on a podium, post-game, post-practice conference, or everything else, rather than somebody else speaking for us because we're in a coffin 6 feet under, because we put ourselves, because an officer that is not inclined.
You heard what he said? He was about to say, because we put ourselves in a situation. But even Stephen, that's the thing. She's rolling her eyes at Stephen A. And Stephen A. is being soft on this.
Feet under, because we put ourselves, because an officer that is not inclined to do what he was trained to do. We knew it all along, and we still going to antagonize him anyway. Hell no. Hell no.
Stephen A., everything you said especially the incidents that happened to you personally and your friends. That's sort of my point. I understand the world I'm a black woman in America. I understand.
Oh my God. Here we go with the black woman in America stuff. Here we go with a black woman in America stuff. And I hate to say it like this, but I have to. Blame white liberals. Not all white liberals, I'm not saying that. But if you are a white liberal and you're hearing this, chances are you supported this directly or indirectly. Blame white liberals. White liberals have used black women. They have identified, black women, y'all gonna be our greatest pawns. That's why the social programs came in to remove the black man out the household, to incentivize black women to, have kids. We'll give you support, but the black man that you live, he can't live there. You can't be married. We incentivize the black woman to be single rather than to actually have a relationship. Oh yeah, we'll give you some support, but you single, right? You sure he ain't living there? I bet, because if he's living there and we find out, you can't get the support.
Life is unfair and life is difficult, and there are different challenges that affect me in a way that they don't affect you and Jason and Mom.
Well, we're talking about a situation that is affecting black men. So the fact that you feel the need to jump in and put that in there is irrelevant. This is what victimhood looks like. This is what embracing victimhood looks like. A situation that is involving a black man. This black woman feels that her stance on this situation should be at the level or more, should exceed her level of validation, should exceed what Stephen A is saying, to the point where she feels comfortable saying, well, I'm a black woman, so this is not even happening to a black man. But that's what victims do. That's what oppression creates. When you have a group of people, white liberals, that pat you on the back and say, hey, you've been oppressed for so long. We feel so bad for you. You deserve so much, that they don't even have plans of giving you a dumb ass. That is the entire liberal agenda. Like, I don't know why people keep falling for it. I'm talking black people specifically. They don't care. They're just using you. They've been using you. You've been supporting them for the last 40, 50 years. And where has it landed us? It's landed us in a position where it's like, if Kamala doesn't win, you're going back to chains and shackles. That means they haven't done their job. But all they do is empower black women at the expense of emasculating black men, to the point where she feels that she should lead the conversation on this and be able to use her identity as a black woman in a situation that has nothing to do with a black woman. Soft ass black men are the reason that we're in this position.
Like, those are realities. That doesn't make it right, though. And I think when you talk about Tyreek Hill, I wish he had said, I should have acted differently sooner. Him saying that yesterday, I think it was mature. That doesn't change my stance on supporting what he is saying about how he was treated with the excessive force.
As a matter of fact, we were on the air with Dominique, and Dominique was saying this conversation should be private, and that's the...
So Dominique is the gentleman that we showed on Wednesday. Dominique was the former president of the NFLPA, the National NFL Players Association. And he was on here talking about, publicly, I'm just going to critique the officer. But that's a private conversation to critique Tyreek. That's a private conversation. I'm not going to say that in public. What, bro? What? So you're going to privately critique people while you're publicly telling the world and all of the people that you influence, all the people that are following your show, you're just going to act as if only the officer did something wrong, but privately you're going to go home and tell your kids, all right, this is how Tyreek Hill should have behaved. Like, that is insane. That is exactly what all of these people in entertainment do. Whether it's Jay-Z and a rapper, they don't care what they need to tell the world as long as it benefits them. They care about themselves, and that's it. I'm going to keep a private conversation to educate my kids on how to conduct themselves with an officer, but publicly, I'm just going to condemn the officer. You think you're doing yourself a favor. You think you're doing the people a favor, but you're doing us a disservice that is going to put a lot of kids and men in a position to where they're going to not be as lucky as Tyreek Hill to come out of this situation behaving how Tyreek Hill behaved.
Only way we parted ways. He thought it should be private, and I said, hell no. And then Molly jumped in because you got lives that you're trying to save.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm like, yo, that's the priority.
Both things are true.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Both things are true.
Absolutely. We have to leave it there. By the way, the officer that he wants fired, Danny Torres, was placed on administrative duties. So we'll keep you up to speed
As
on
well
what
he
happened
should
there.
have been.
Okay, so that's what Kimberly Martin had to say, and that's the reason why she was frustrated at Stephen A. Smith. And yeah, guys, this topic is a lot bigger.
I think that's the last video that we're going to show on that. All right, damn, 9:40, and we're just getting into politics. It is what it is. We're going to be here for a while. Tap in. We're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here for a while. Hold on one second. Philando Castile. Yeah, all right. My dad sent me the name. Yeah, it was Philando. Philando, yeah. Hold on. 1 second. About to put in a breakfast order. I literally just stopped. I promise you, I just stopped to put in. I just stopped to put in a breakfast order. Yeah, it's gonna.